go to this church like, gosh, a million years ago. And he went on 4 caravans, and he works in Los Angeles, and he's going to talk a little bit about caravan and race issues in Los Angeles. He pretty much knows everything that we need to know in preparing for caravan. But first, before we jump into that, let's do some announcements. Here's what we got. Here's what we got coming down the pipe. Cool. So here is the remaining clue schedule. This Wednesday, we're getting a visit from the MRT. That's the Ministry Renewal Team. The Ministry Renewal Team is tasked with charting the path for the next 5 to 10 years for our church. And so they're meeting with all kinds of people, and they're asking all kinds of interesting questions. What do you like about this church? What are the strengths and what are the weaknesses? What was your favorite moment of all time here? And one thing that I love is that they have made a special point to say we have to get with Clue. We have to know what they think. So come on Wednesday and share your opinions about anything, really. They want to know what you think about this church. It's a chance to come and be honest and give meaningful input. And then we have several weeks off so that you can do all of your homework and finish all of your final projects, study for everything. You'll have some free time. And then we reconvene June 17th for our summer kickoff, and it's colored powder thing. We can't think of a good name for it, but we're going with Rainbow Rumble Summer Kickoff.
Kickoff. There's more words.
Awesome. So this is the upcoming Clue schedule, just so you know what's up. This week is our last week, and you should come and talk to the MRT because they really want to know what you think. Great. So here are a few things. If you are thinking about how am I ever going to get all of my caravan hours, here's a couple things that you should know about. The church picnic is coming up on June 14th, and it's great because it could be that your family is already going. And if you sign up as a volunteer, you can make cotton candy or light the cotton candy machine on fire, which happened last year, or was that 2 years ago? Last year. So, there's lots of interesting things that you can do there. Here's how you sign up for it. Website, you use the internet to go here, and then you click up here on the Sign Up Genius, and you can sign up for a whole bunch of different time slots. It's a great way to get some caravan hours if you need them. What else we got here? Kurt Miller.
Yeah.
Great. Senior high floating. Another thing. We can't quite think of a good name for what this should be called, but we have an overnight canoe trip, float trip, rafting event that I hope you'll all come to. It's $50, and June 25 and 26. So if you are thinking, how am I ever going to get all those community hours, this is like half of them right here. Plus, it'll be really fun. So we'll be canoeing together once school gets out, and yeah, we'll be camping out there. Yeah, Shay. Where exactly are we camping?
Oakdale.
Yeah, Oakdale. Is that specific enough?
In a tent?
Yeah, in California somewhere. We'll be staying in tents. I got some a lead on some awesome tents for us, and we'll just be camping out. We'll have a campfire and we'll sing some songs and some s'mores and some other stuff. So it'll be a super good time. But you got to RSVP. We only have a limited number of spots, so make sure that if you want to go, you sign up. Yes, cool. Senior high grad party. If you're a senior, make sure that you come here and eat some tasty food with me on June 9th. That'll be great. There we go. And if you are really concerned about getting all of your caravan service hours, this is a great way to do it. You can get half your service hours in one day. On May 30th, it's a Saturday, where we have church camp every year. That's the big camping event at the end of the summer everyone's invited to. We have such a great relationship with the people at that facility. One of the ways that we love them and they love us is that we go and clean stuff and paint stuff and work for a full Saturday. It's a really fun time. You get some tasty free food and some other stuff and half your caravan service hours. So, if you haven't done any caravan hours at all, I suggest you sign up for this thing.
You should ask Nikki about that.
Yeah, Nikki, what's up?
He made 6 picnic tables.
Yeah, and it was awesome.
We got scared of the spider at one point, I think. I vaguely remember that.
And so these are the highlights of your day?
Ellie did.
Yeah, awesome. So if you want to have as good a time as Nikki had, then sign up for this. So with these last several things, pretty much if you do everything that we listed here, you will have your caravan hours pretty much covered. So just trying to help you guys out. I don't want anyone to be stressed about those mandatory caravan hours. Lots of opportunities for those things. If you do these things and then you've been coming to Flash and Clue, or you've been going to girls group or dudes group, then you're pretty much going to be set. And that'll be awesome. Cool. Anything else?
Nope.
Nope. Just the best bike ever. Great.
Yeah.
All right, now I'm so excited to invite Eddie up to talk. As you know, we're going to be doing some really cool ministry in Los Angeles where we're going to work with some of the best homeless outreach and homeless care organizations in the city. But then at night, we're going to be having these really interesting conversations about how do we start to talk about race. And so Eddie has worked with a lot of these types of dynamics before, plus he's been on some caravans, and he grew up in this church, and so he's got a lot of wisdom for us. All right.
And Matt and I become best friends.
Now we're best
You got the memo?
friends. We even dress like that. Yeah, that's right.
There you go.
Good.
Yes, Matt said I grew up in this church. We used to meet here, Clue, Sunday nights. So it feels very nostalgic to be here on Sunday night. To be in this room, went on tour caravan. I went to Homestead High School.
Woo!
Yeah.
Woo!
Room.
I won't hold that against newspaper staff, played tennis, yearbook, all that kind of stuff. I lost my train of thought. Yeah, went to 4 caravans. The first one was in Alaska, and then where we had a terrible experience where all we had to do was put a ceiling in. So Dave was a part of that trip, and I think it was the day before we're supposed to leave. The whole ceiling collapses.
Well, I think we spent 3 days putting the thing up.
Right.
Yeah,
But
we were supposed to have a free day.
Yeah, supposed to have a free day, but we didn't have a free day. But I don't know if you remember this, is we created a sauna outside at right on the coast of the Pacific Ocean. I don't know how we built it, but we built a sauna where
Steve found driftwood and plastic sheeting laying around.
right, and we got rocks in the fire pit, hot rocks, and we put salt water on them and created a sauna. That was one of my first caravan experiences.
We're probably not going to do that.
Went to Grass Valley, California the year after, where we worked with some, I think it was like a high school kids who come from troubled homes or whatnot, and they sort of spend the year out there, so we got to go serve there. The next year went to Mexico, built a house, and finally we were in Denver working at with a homeless shelter out in Denver. So I went to 4 caravans. And maybe some of you are like, I'm barely involved with Clue. I was involved maybe 2 months before I went on my first caravan. So I didn't know anyone and got on an airplane, and my parents sent me to Alaska. So it changed my life. It really did. I want you to turn somebody in your group, somebody next to you, and answer this question. You may not know me. You may not know this about me, but I'm pretty good at fill in the blank. Okay? You may not know this, but I'm pretty good at dancing. It can be like sports, it can be art, it can be dance.
You may not know this one. They don't have to dunk out
That's good. That's real good. It makes a lot of sense. You may not know this, but I killed it. And then it got us awkwardly walk away.
I'm curious to hear what were some of the things that you learned about your friend in this exercise.
Stephanie can make a noise.
Do it! Make the noise. Okay, so she can make noises. The rest of us might not be able to make. Okay, what else can you hear? Yeah.
I learned that John Zhang's father is a communist drug dealer. It's not even
He was born in communist China and he makes pharmaceutical drugs, so.
Yeah, so you tell
I learned that Brandon's a good cook.
Okay, what do you like to cook? stuff. What else? Yeah. Tell us, Elise.
There's guitar jets.
I'm so happy. Thank you, Elise. This is great.
How about a couple more? What else?
Nikki can squirt milk through her eye.
Okay, one more. Milk in her eyes.
Everything else hurts.
What else? One more.
It's got cooling properties.
Something you heard?
Okay.
Somebody's good at? Okay. Well, for how many of you was this a really was a harder exercise? Why was it hard? Okay, can't think of anything. Same with you. Okay, what else? What was it hard? Yeah, right here.
Oh, as soon as you have to think of something that you're good at, like, it kind of all goes away. At the exact time that you need to remember it.
Okay.
So it breaks
Just
my heart.
blank. Okay.
Yeah.
For how many of you that was so easy? You're like, I could use another 10 minutes to have like a list of things I'm really good at. And like, a couple of you, okay. You're like, I know what I'm good at, and I'm not ashamed about that. You know, over the years, you develop the talents, the skills, the gifts that you're unique for who you are, right? I love that, Brandon. You can cook. How many of you feel like you're a terrible cook? And so you might be looking at Brandon, and you might think he's got a superpower, right? The fact that the brother can cook, that's superpower, because most of us maybe can't cook. The fact that Grace can tap dance, for many of you here, you might be like, that's really cool. I can't do that. So she's got some superpower that she can entertain people with her feet. That the rest of us, most of us, can't do that. So one thing that I think I'm good at is I'm usually the tech guy. When somebody has a problem with their computer, I'm the first one they call. Just this past week, somebody spilled water all over their laptop. So he doesn't call Geek Squad or Genius Bar, he calls Eddie. He's like, Eddie, I don't know what to do. And on the spot, I'm like, open it and use a hairdryer. And it worked, right? So I felt kind of fun to help a friend of mine out to do that. So we all bring these gifts and talents and skills that we've developed into these relationships. And when we use the things that God has given us to help someone else, to bless other people, like to cook for other people or to entertain other people with your, yeah, I'm sure that's an entertainment value. We're pleasing God in the process. Because God created us and gave us those very things, so if we use them, it actually pleases God. Or another way to put it, we worship. Worshiping God is using everything that God's given us unto Him as well as unto other people. And as you go to LA this summer, as you come to my city, Hollywood's part of Los Angeles, it's not just a fun trip away from Sunnyvale, which I'm sure most of you are excited to leave Sunnyvale. You're not going to see a lot of movie stars, but you might think you saw people. Everybody's a movie star somehow in LA, but nobody really has a movie star job. It's not there to actually even help poor people. As much as you might think we're going down there to help people who are don't have the same privileges as us. I would say the primary reason you're going to LA is because you're there to worship God. To take everything of who you are and be shaped by God and worship God while you're down there. One of the ways that I do that, as Matt shared, I grew up in this church. If you were at service, I shared about ministering with black students on college campuses all over Los Angeles. And so how does somebody like me who grew up in this church end up in LA serving and ministering with black students? And I'd say it all started with being in relationship with people like you in this room 27 years ago, and learning what it was like to put my faith in action time and time and time again. And then God develops that over time and makes me the person I am today. We're going to look at a quick story, so can you click up the Bible passage? Yeah. It's a very familiar passage. Let me read it to us and make a few observations about how this could apply even as you go down to LA this summer. So a few days later, when Jesus again entered Capernaum, the people heard that he had come home. And they gathered in such large numbers that there was no room left, not even outside the door, and he preached the word to them. Some men came bringing to him a paralyzed man carried by 4 of them. Since they could not get him to Jesus because of the crowd, they made an opening in the roof above Jesus by digging through it and then lowered the mat the man was lying on. And when Jesus saw their faith, he said to the paralyzed man, "Son, your sins are forgiven." So a few just observations, and I'll sort of connect it about how this applies to your summer. So it's probably true. What do you guys know about paralytic? What do you imagine? They can't really move. Uh-huh. What else? Isolated, yeah.
I imagine it's very inconvenient for your friends and family.
Okay, say more. Yeah.
Well, my mom is disabled and it's very inconvenient for me.
Okay.
So
So you imagine a life of that, yeah.
I also know that they usually have to just be beggars on the street, left on their mats, kind
Yeah.
of like he was.
So the fact that he has friends is probably a big deal with that. Well, we don't know much about this guy. But we don't know if he was a willing participant. I mean, the thing is he can't move, right? So I guess people can take him wherever he goes without him actually being able to protest or not. So we don't know whether he wanted to go to Jesus or didn't want to go to Jesus. It didn't seem relevant to the story that Mark was writing. But he's taken to Jesus. And what I love about it is that it says when Jesus saw their faith, whose faith did he see? The friend's faith. And who got healed? Or eventually get healed. Whose sins got forgiven? The paralytic. Do you see that? So it wasn't the faith of the paralytic that had anything to do with the story. What Jesus saw was the faith of the friends who brought the paralytic. And based on the faith of other people, that was enough for Jesus to heal, eventually heal. We didn't go through the story. And extend forgiveness to the paralytic. What I love about this is that when Jesus saw their faith, I think oftentimes we think of faith as something just between me and God, something that's very private. What do you believe? You believe in something you can't see. But that's not what Jesus says, because Jesus sees something about their faith. And what do you guys think Jesus saw? It says he saw their faith. What do you think he saw that was so visible to Jesus? Yeah.
They had all come together and they'd all brought him there as a large group.
Yeah, they all came together, worked together. Yeah.
I was gonna say, they trusted Jesus to heal them so much they went to great efforts in order to get him there.
Yes. They're climbing the roof. I mean, can you just imagine how long that took to? I mean, imagine people getting on the roof here to dig through it. I mean, it's just a lot of time and energy, and people are probably yelling, "Don't do that! You're breaking our roof." You know. Anything else about what? There they are. Anything else about the story about what you see in terms of seeing the faith? I love that Jesus healed this man by seeing the faith of his friends. These friends of the paralytic had to work really hard to get their friend to Jesus, right? They had to figure out, how do I, first of all, get this man who's not very mobile, right? So he might need a little bit overweight, how to carry him up on the roof, how to figure out and get the right shovels to dig through the roof. I mean, it was very systematic way of trying to figure out, how do I get this man, my friend, to Jesus? And these men had something about them that the paralytic needed, right? They had the ability to get this man to Jesus. Don't you want friends like this man had in your life, right? Friends who would go out of their way to bless you, to heal you, to take you to everything they can do in their power to make you well. We all want friends like that. If you're saying no, I don't want friends like that, then you're lying to yourself, right? We all long to have people like this in our lives, people who will take us to Jesus, people who will take us, who believe the best in us, and will use all of their gifts, their abilities, and their talents to do that. So when I asked the question earlier, you know, what's your superpower? That's really what I meant. What's the thing that you're good at that somebody doesn't know? It's because that is actually a real blessing to other people. It's doing what these guys did, which is using their ability to bless someone else. So as I said, I was involved with Clue over 20 years ago, went on the caravans and all that kind of stuff. And I learned, it was in this room that I learned how to become friends, how to build friendships like this guy, the paralytic. In fact, all throughout today, as I've been at church, I took a picture with Brenda and Dave. Dave was my advisor in Clue 20 years ago, so it's kind of fun. So in my head, it's like, we haven't aged a bit, Dave. You know, he's still my advisor. So I see Dave and Brenda. Actually, Brenda has not aged a day in the last 20 years. But I love that a lot of those critical friendships happened for me in this room. That I learned how to make friendships, to be this kind of friend to other people, and allow other people to be this kind of friends with me. In fact, as I've been here, I've been taking pictures and texting all these people from back in the day, telling them, remember this room, remember this building, remember, even in service, right? I'm taking a quick picture just to show my friends that I've made in this room, where 20 years later we continue to be good friends to each other. Are you ready for these 3 lessons? So this will make or break your summer. Number 1, make good friendships. Be good friends to each other. And you might be thinking, I'm pretty good at making friends. Well, then be better at it, right? Do what you can to use your superpowers, your influence, the love that God's given you, your talents, your gifts, to bless somebody else in the room. Some of you might be even new here. You don't know a lot of people. So reach out to those people. And those of you who have been part of this group for 3 years, you're graduating, go out of your way to bless somebody else to do that. Because the friendships you build will last you 20, 30, and beyond. I don't know how many years. That's been true for me. That the friendships I built on the caravans I went on continue to be true today. So spend your energy getting to know each other, and to be these kinds of friends is to give yourself and help other people get to know Jesus this summer. Second, I'd say, know who you are. I love that these men who carried the paralytic, they knew what they could do and what they can't do, right? They knew their abilities, and they used all of their abilities to bless their friend so that their friend would get to know Jesus. And this summer will be a summer of knowing who you are. You'll be faced with things that you've never seen before, being on the streets of LA, having discussions about race. And those are going to be really critical to help you figure out more about who you are. And I would say the best advice somebody's given me is be who you are. Learn what it means to follow Jesus. Learn how it means to use your gifts to bless other people. So be proud to tap dance in front of everybody, Grace, because God made you to be. So know who you are. Know what you bring as part of that. And I'd say just as you bring all of your gifts, all of your talents to help people down there, you know what else you bring with you? All of your arrogance, all of the ways that your character's messed up, all the ways that you're not good friends to each other. You bring all of that garbage as well with you when you go to LA. So don't think that you're bringing the best of you. You'll bring the best of you, but also we bring the worst of us as well. So know who you are, and do a good job of bringing the best of who you are into those settings. And one other thing I'd say about that is that the people that you're going to go serve down there, they're not worse off than you. They're not better off than you. They're living their lives as they're living their lives. And you get to go and serve and bless them. And the reality is, for us, when we're in those contexts, it's very visible what we see their needs are. And sometimes we don't really realize what our needs are in the process. We have needs as well in our lives, and we need other people to come and help us and bless us as well. So this summer, don't just go in there and say, I have a lot to offer those people over there, but maybe they have a lot to offer you as well in that process. The third thing I'd say, kind of attached to that, is go as a learner. Learn from the least. So this is what's going to happen. You guys still do Caravan Sunday, like 2 Sundays after you get back from Caravan, and maybe 2 or 3 of you will get up and share a story. And this is exactly the story you'll share. You know why I know? Because I've been doing this for a long time, and it's always the same stories. One of you will get up there, Matt's going to ask you to go and share, and you're going to say something like this. You ready? I'm telling you exactly what you're going to say. You're going to say, I went to LA this summer to go help them, and I didn't realize how much more they were blessing me in the process. All right, have you heard that testimony before? It happens every year. It's like clockwork. I just know exactly what the person's going to say. They always say that. I went down to Mexico to help the poor people, and they helped me more. So here's a secret. You're not going down there to help poor people. Right? What if you actually were not going down there to help them? What if you're going down there so that they can help you to be better people? What if that's really the reason why you went down there? So what if your testimony was, I went down to LA this summer because I needed God to do something in my life that he couldn't do in Sunnyvale, California. And the only way he could get my attention was to send me to Los Angeles with the homeless population. Because the reality is, like, will 70 people change the face of LA this summer? Maybe. I have faith that he could, but the reality is that's not totally how it works, coming in for a week to make some change. But you go in a week, the change that God will do in you is much greater, much more powerful, much more beautiful than what you can imagine and what you feel like you're going to give to other people. So in this summer, let this summer be a life-changing process, not for them. Let this summer be a life-changing process for you. Right? Go down there and ask, who is your mentor this summer? Which homeless person on the street will teach you things about life that you've never heard before? which conversations about race will show you more about yourself than just being in Los Angeles, I mean in Sunnyvale this summer. Yeah, got the 3. Be a good friend, know who you are, and learn the least. 3 things that you could do better this summer, and 3 things that I learned by going on caravans, even myself, when I was part of CLU. The last thing I do, this is my commercial plug, so this is for all the seniors in the room, especially as you're graduating and going to colleges. Look for InterVarsity Christian Fellowship. We love working with college students. We love what God does in college students. We think that God changed the world through college students. So whatever campus you go to, look up InterVarsity. If they don't have an InterVarsity, call me up and we'll start one. I don't know, even if you're not in LA, we'll figure it out how to get you the right people to start the group. We love students and we love the campus, and we want to work with you seniors and receive you on the college campus. So, can I just pray for people?
Yeah.
Yeah. God, I just love that I'm back in this room, and I just feel like I've been taken back 20 years, Lord, and just thank you for my friends here who are getting ready for a life-changing trip. And many of them don't know what to expect. And God, I pray that this summer that you would teach them how to be good friends to one another, teach them how to use their gifts, their talents to be who they are, and third, Lord, for them to be good learners of their new mentors this summer. So thank you, Lord, and I bless them in your name. Amen.
Amen. All right, thanks, Eddie. All right, well, you know what? Here's my hope for you guys. Here's, in everything that we do here, here's my hope. A student said to me today, Matt, I want to have God be a part of every aspect of my life. That's how I want to grow. And what I love about seeing Eddie is that he's a guy who has made that commitment. That he wanted God to be part of everything that he did. That's what he learned here. And that's my prayer for you guys, that everything we do, the caravan and CLU and every other single thing, that you guys can find a way to make everything in your life worshipful. When you give your best to God and let him use that out in the world, you can change everything. And maybe you remember at CLU when John Zang talked about how even marching band could be really worshipful. And when he offered that to God, it was such a more profound experience. So that's my hope for you guys, and it's great to hear from Eddie. Here's what we're going to do now. We're going to make chocolate chip cookies, and it's going to be super yummy.
Yeah.
So, it seems like maybe that was a joke, but it's not. That's what we're actually going to do. And here's how it's going to work. You're going to work with your team, who's your color?